Welcome to the S50 Sales Data video library. This video will take you through the process of configuring our S50 Sales Data product to link your ACT database with Sage 50 US Edition, formerly known as Peachtree Accounting. After you've downloaded and installed the S50 Sales Data product, you will next need to open up your ACT database. Depending on how your ACT data is configured, you may initially be taken to the welcome screen in ACT, as you can see here. We need to get to the context view in ACT in order to see the installation wizard screen. So to get there, you can either click on the contacts option on the left here, or you can go to view contacts up at the top. Either way, it'll get you over to contacts. As soon as you get there, the installation wizard screen for S50 Sales Data will pop up. This is what we're going to do for the configuration. We'll take you through this step by step. First step is to configure the database, or tell our application which database to connect to. That's step one. In order to do that, simply click on the Set DB button. You also want to make sure that Sage 50 is open before you click on the Set DB button as well. I have Sage 50 open. Let me click on Set DB, and it's as simple as clicking on the Get DB List button, waiting a few seconds. After a few seconds, this drop-down list will get populated. You pick the appropriate database there that you want to connect to for Sage 50 and simply click on Close. And that's step one. Now that that's done, we'll move on to step two. That's your field mappings. You can click on Set Mapping. We need to tell the S50 Sales Data application what fields in ACT correspond to what fields in Sage 50. Now, if these are all unmapped over on the right here, all you have to do is simply click on Reset to Defaults, and it'll map those. And if there's some that are still not mapped, you can fill in the blanks. Notice the left-hand side are your Sage 50 fields, your right-hand side are your ACT fields. Once that's complete, you can go ahead and click on Close, and we can move on to the next step. The next step is building the fields in your database. We add about 60 fields to your ACT database to store Sage 50 information. So let's go ahead and click on the Build Fields button. And in this case, we need to enter in the credentials for an ACT administrator user. For my database, the user is admin, and I actually don't have a password. And I'll go ahead and click on the Build Fields button to begin that process. This process normally takes about 5 to 10 minutes depending on the speed of your computer. And when the process is complete, it'll prompt you to close and reopen ACT. Here you can see the process completed. It's asking us to close and reopen ACT. Let's go ahead and do that. So I click OK, close out of ACT, and reopen it. Okay, now that we're back in ACT, we're going to go back to the contacts view and move on to the next step in the installation wizard. The next step is to install the S50 Sales Data tab. So let's go ahead and do that. So to run the S50 Tab Installer, we go to Tools, S50 Sales Tab Install. And what this is going to do is it's going to make a copy of your existing layout and put an S50 at the end of it. So let's go ahead and click OK and see how that works. So here we go, the operation was successful. I click OK. Notice that it's added an S50 data tab to our layout, and it wants us to go to the Design Layout Editor to complete the installation. So let's go there, Tools, Design Layouts, Contact. Then we just simply click on the S50 data tab and click anywhere in the tab, and that will assign the fields. Click OK. Now we can close out of the layout editor and say yes to save. And now we have an S50 data tab with all the appropriate fields. So that step is done. We can go back into Tools, S50 Sales Data Installation Wizard. So we've finished steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we can go in and do step 5, which is adjusting the partner security setting in Sage 50. So we open up Sage 50, we go to Options, Global, go to the Sage Partners tab, and set the security level to low and allow partner applications to display Sage 50 screens. We want to make sure that that is checked and hit OK. We can go back to Act. Step 5 is done, and now we're on Step 6, creating the Sage 50 certificate. This is what allows us to actually talk to the Sage 50 application. Obviously, we need to make sure that Sage 50 is open, so it is here. Let's go ahead and click on the Create Connection button, and you'll get a message saying this is the first time you're trying to communicate. You may also get an error message. If so, just hit OK. In this case, it's telling us to close and reopen Sage 50, so let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and close Sage 50. And now I've reopened Sage 50. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And after logging in, you'll notice that we get a screen that talks about third-party application access. And it tells us, or it asks us how we want to set it up. We want to set it to always allow access. Click OK. And now that connection has been set up. We can go back to Act and notice that it's telling us here to close and reopen both Act and Sage 50 before moving on to the next step. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to close out of Act. I'm going to close out of Sage 50, kind of reset everything, and then we're going to go back into both applications. Okay, so I've got Sage 50 back open, and I've got Act open. I'm going to go back to View Contacts, so I get back to my installation wizard screen. And at this point, you're in one of two situations. You either have an existing Act database and you need to link those Act records with your Sage 50 records, or you're starting out with a blank Act database and you want to pull in all of your Sage 50 customers into Act. So we have both of those options. The link wizard here would let you link records between Act and QuickBooks, and the Create from S50 will let you pull over those records. And let's go ahead, in both cases it takes you to the customer link screen. We're going to, instead of contact linking here, we're going to do the Create from S50, but there are videos on the website that explain both of these functions. In this case, I have a blank Act database. All I have to do is click on Load Data, and it's going to list all my Sage 50 customer accounts. And then notice that they're all set to create, so I can simply just kind of eyeball this list here. That looks good. Click on the Create button, and it will pull all those records from Sage 50 into Act, and obviously use that mapping that we set earlier in the setup process. That's complete. I can click on Close. I can close out of the installation wizard screen, and now I can just hit a quick refresh here, and you'll see that I have 156 records in my Act database now. All of these are customers that came over from Sage 50. So that's a huge time saver for you. Let's go back to the installation wizard, Tools, S50 SalesData Install Wizard. The last piece of the puzzle then is to bring over the transactions. You'll see here that under the S50 SalesData tab and the Transactions and Items tab, everything's blank. We haven't brought any transactions over. Last piece of the puzzle is to bring those transactions over. So we can go back to that Install Wizard, and we can run what's called the Transaction Sync. That will take you, basically, if you ever need to do a transaction sync later, you can go to that same window by going to Tools, S50 SalesData Import. And here, let's assume that I've been using Sage 50 for 10 years. So I want to go back 3650 days, right? 365 times 10. And then I can simply click on the Transaction Sync button. Note that before you run this, if you have a large Sage 50 database, meaning lots of customers, lots of transactions, you may not want to run this until the end of the day, because it can easily take an hour or two to finish. So take that into account. My Sage 50 database is not that large, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Transaction Sync, and it'll give you an update here in the lower left as to the progress of it. And then when complete, it will give us a message saying that it's complete. Okay, and when your sync is complete, you'll get a message in the lower left that the sync is complete. You can click on Close, And if you hit refresh here, you'll see that we have data on the account, and we have transactions in the Transactions tab that we can double click on to look at, and we also have items in the Items tab. So at this point, the setup's complete. You have your initial set of data in the ACT database, and really the only other thing to think about with your installation wizard is, do you want to run the nightly sync program? So you can continue to do manual syncs by going to Tools, S50 Import, or you can set up the nightly sync program, which is a download from our website, and we have instructions on how to set that up as well. The concept is you'd set it to run at, for example, 2 in the morning, and every morning then when you come in, you'd have a fresh set of transactions from Sage 50. So that's it. Your S50 Sales Data is set up and ready to go, and thank you for watching the video.